It's the fun stuff now. It's all the pretty finishes and all the different materials that I've chosen for the kitchen. I'm going to take you through from the ground up, starting from the floor. Let's go. All right, I want to introduce you to our new floor. I'm very excited by this. This is Spotted Gum Rustic. So this is actually from Carpet Court. I love this flooring so much. It's a solid hardwood. I am really excited that we are going to redo our floors. Jonno's done a ton of work re-stumping. He's literally done the entire house. We are on a solid foundation now. Thank you very much, Jonno. That's like a whole other video in itself because he's got a lot more work to do to then put this flooring down because we're going to insulate. We're going to town. Like, we are making this just the most effective and cozy home you can imagine. That aside, all I care about right now is how pretty it looks. So this is the Spotted Gum Rustic. We had a couple of different choices with the timber flooring, but ultimately this is what we came to in order to complement what was already in the home. You know, think about our timber ceilings that are behind me. I had to really link up to the warmth of that timber. So we really liked the raw earthiness of this spotted gum. Then on the walls, so this is what we've seen. So this is the bongo drum. So this is what you saw in the living room and a touch in the dining room and also in the hallway. So that is going to continue through into the kitchen. So again, this is just a really soft, warm, neutral. When it came to choosing a color for my cabinetry, what color do you think I chose? Green. We all know I chose green, let's be honest. Taupery. This is where I went in the end. This is a Polytech finish. I really liked the softness of this green. I'll actually show you a bit later what I was tossing up between because there were two colors, but I really did like the softness of this. It's very similar to some of the other greens that we've used in the house already. And that is literally going to dominate the kitchen. That's going to be really quite strong. We do have a slight accent in some of the other cabinetry in the pantry, and I'm going to be bringing in a Tasmanian oak. So again, that's a Polytech finish, the wood mat. This is just going to be a slight accent here. I'm actually going to be bringing this in more in the laundry. So because it's only a bit slight, I'll put this more on top of it. I did want to bring handles into the cabinetry as well. That was really important to me to bring in just that texture. I really like the tactile nature of handles. So this is from Iva, and this is called the Sarlet pull handle, and I've chosen their signature brass. I love this tone. This hardware, we're going to continue throughout the entire home. So not only is this going to exist in the kitchen, but we're also bringing in this Sarlet design all across the doors, the windows. It's just going to finish everything off and make it really consistent. When it comes to the bench top, I had a couple of different decisions to make and I was umming and ahhing, but eventually I decided to go for timber. We are going to be choosing a black butt timber purely because it is more durable apparently in the kitchen actually. So this is actually a spotted gum reference, but I'll use it for reference, but we will be going a black butt for our finish. And then for our splashback, I'm also going to be bringing in these tiles. So I would call these like a reddy brown. So these are actually, for those paying attention, they are the same tile that I used in the bathroom, but obviously just a different color. So I really like that smaller square tile. I love the texture, the really organic nature, the fact that they're not perfectly formed. They're slightly odd and off, which is what I really wanted to bring into this kitchen. I still wanted to keep a bit of that quirkiness and that old school flavor running through the design. Brushed nickel is going to be coming in as well. So this is the tap. So this is the Cato era range from Reese. So this is going to be consistent. Again, we saw this in the bathroom. We're going to bring this into the kitchen and into the laundry as well. I think this brushed nickel works quite well with that signature brass. There will also be the strength of the black of the oven. I forgot to grab something to reference black. Technically, my phone cover is navy, but you know, that shows you a bit of that. There'll also be some white touches as well, just to freshen it up through the sink and also through some of the ceramics as well. Now, what I do want to say is that I was in two minds about this kitchen design. So yes, this is where I've gone to, but I wanted to show you my second option and how I actually finally decided to choose this. So bear with me, stay with me. I have a purpose. So I had a couple of different options for the kitchen and I was literally going between, design all the time and it was driving me insane. I wanted to break down how I actually made this work. These were my elements that were gonna stay the same, the floor and the walls. I already knew them, okay? So I had to choose what my color cabinetry was gonna be, and then my bench top and also my tiles. So I was actually looking at this for a bench top. This is indicative of a natural stone. Very bougie, very beautiful, very green. Obviously, this would have dictated all the other elements in the room. So I was thinking about going this natural stone, and I thought, well, if I do something like that, then I am gonna have to bring in a darker, deeper tone of green. I'm also then gonna have to bring in potentially this sort of walnut tone to work better with that, because that just wasn't sort of it for me. So I was like, it needed to be a walnut tone. And then with the tiles, I really wanted these tiles, but they just didn't really work with that bench top. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand how they don't really work? I mean, this guy looks like he's about to go hit the clubs, whereas this guy just wants to have a cup of tea in the afternoon. So they just don't really talk together. So I can't do those tiles. If I do anything, I still want to keep that reddy tone to it. And I thought these tiles worked better. It still has texture. It still talks to this. They're more uniform. So I thought it worked better with that green. So that was where I was going. I was really kind of pushing this in the end, but part of me, like the back of my head was going, but you really wanted timber bench tops, like, and you really wanted these cute little, let's have a cup of tea in the afternoon tiles. That was in the back of my head. And what I actually had to do was revisit my initial mood board. I looked at some of those images that I was referencing of things that I wanted to create in this space and how I wanted my kitchen to feel. And I realized that I didn't really want it to look like this. I actually really love this, and now I need to think about where I can apply this elsewhere or for another project or something like that, because I love that. But essentially, that was my two different design options. So the point and the reason why I'm showing you all this, what is my point? Well, basically, if you can't decide, and if you're like going between two different ideas, I would suggest to really nut out what is like the hero dominant element in that room. You know, is it the bench top? Are you wanting something really strong and striking that's really going to dominate your attention? And if it is, you need to choose that first and then work out what else goes around it to complement that. And two, the other thing I would say to you is to make sure that you have an initial mood board and you have a design direction that you're trying to achieve, because it is very easy to get stuck and kind of entering these new rabbit holes to create this incredible thing, but it might also be at odds with the rest of your house. So you do really want to maintain consistency throughout your design, and the way that you do that is through keeping within your goalposts, so to speak, making sure that you're sticking to your design direction. And the only way you can really do that is to be able to visualize that and articulate that from the start as to where you're going, what's your direction, so that you don't get too sidetracked in some of your design choices. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It's so good actually to see both of these in the flesh, and actually I'm filming this now that I've already made the decision and chosen the first option. And now that I see it here, I am really happy and confident that we went with this option, because it really does talk to this home more. It is far more in line with where we're going. This is awesome. I really want to do it, but it's just not for me for this home right now. I don't know. I'd love to know what you think. Have I made the wrong decision, and would you have gone the green epic natural stone? I am very happy with our final choices. Would love to know what you think though, so leave me a comment below.